Welcome to a spine-chilling expedition through the annals of true crime on our YouTube channel. Join us as we embark on a haunting journey into the dark underworld of some of the most influential criminals known to mankind. In this gripping video, we delve into the twisted minds of infamous individuals, including the sadistic Albert Fish, the notorious duo Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, the manipulative Charles Manson, the terrifying John Wayne Gacy, the enigmatic Andre Chikatilo, the tragic Adam Lanza, the shocking Marc Lepine, the perplexing Casey Anthony, and the haunting case of Venables and Robert Thompson. Prepare yourselves for an unparalleled exploration of the depths of evil. Brace yourselves as we reveal the untold stories and delve into the chilling details behind these infamous and influential crimes forever imprinted on our collective consciousness. This is not for the faint of heart. Join us, if you dare, in deciphering the mysteries of these gripping crimes that have... Welcome Trip 14, where we bring you captivating content that will leave you wanting more. In today's video, we delve into a topic that will send shivers down your spine. But before we begin, we kindly ask you to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring you more intriguing content. Now let's dive into the gripping.
When discussing child killers, it is crucial to understand the devastating impact these individuals have on society. Their actions cause immense pain and suffering to innocent children and their families, as well as leaving long-lasting psychological scars on communities as a whole. The following list highlights some of the most notorious child killers in the world, individuals whose heinous crimes shock the world and serve as a reminder of the importance of keeping our children safe. Serial child killers. 1. John Wayne Gacy, a perpetrator of horrific crimes. John Wayne Gacy, also known as the Killer Clown, was responsible for the gruesome murders of at least 33 young boys between 1972 and 1978. Gacy lured his victims into his home, where he subjected them to torture, sexual assault, and eventually killed them. His actions shocked the nation and led to a heightened awareness of child predators. 2. Andre Chikatilo, the Butcher of Rostov. Andre Chikatilo, a former school teacher, carried out a series of heinous acts between 1978 and 1990. His victims were primarily children and young women. Chikatilo would lure them to secluded areas where he would sexually assault and murder them. His brutal crimes spanned different regions of the Soviet Union and earned him the chilling nickname the Butcher of Rostov. Mass child killers. 1. Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooter. Adam Lanza caused a tragedy on December 14, 2012, at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. He tragically took the lives of 20 young students in first grade and 6 members of the school staff and ultimately ended his own life using a gun. Before the school incident, he had already murdered his mother at their shared residence. The Sandy Hook shooting, during its occurrence, ranked as the second most lethal shooting incident in the United States. 2. Marc Lepine, the École Polytechnique massacre. On December 6, 1989, in the middle of a rainy afternoon, Marc Lepine, a 25-year-old man, entered the École Polytechnique campus while wearing jeans and carrying multiple plastic bags. These bags contained a Mini-14 rifle and a hunting knife measuring 6 inches in length. Lepine proceeded to a classroom on the second floor and interrupted a student presentation. He ordered the male and female students to separate into 2 groups, lining up on opposite sides of the room. Initially, the students didn't comply, assuming it was some sort of prank. To assert his seriousness, Lepine fired 2 shots into the ceiling. Once the two groups were formed, Lepine dismissed the male students and focused his attention on the remaining 14 women, shouting at them, "You're all feminists." One of the women, Natalie Provost, tried to reason with him, explaining that they were just students pursuing their education in engineering. However, her plea for understanding was futile. Lepine proceeded to open fire, shooting approximately 30 rounds at the women. The reason behind Lepine's massacre, which was driven by his anti-feminist beliefs, led to its widespread notoriety. Consequently, the date of this tragic event has now been established as Canada's National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. Infamous child murder cases. 1 Casey Anthony, the trial that captivated the nation. The Casey Anthony case involves the disappearance and subsequent trial of Casey Anthony, a young mother from Florida. In 2008, Casey's 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee Anthony, was reported missing, with Casey delaying in reporting her disappearance. The case gained significant media attention as the investigation unfolded. During the trial, the prosecution argued that Casey had murdered her daughter by administering chloroform and suffocating her with duct tape. The defense, on the other hand, claimed that Kaylee accidentally drowned in the family's swimming pool, and Casey's subsequent actions were a result of panic and fear. In 2011, Casey Anthony was acquitted of the murder charge, but found guilty of providing false information to law enforcement officers. The verdict was met with controversy and public outrage. Despite the extensive media coverage and public interest, Anthony was ultimately acquitted of the charges. The case raised questions about the justice system and sparked nationwide debate. -2 John Venables and Robert Thompson, the tragic murder of James Bulger. The John Venables and Robert Thompson case, also known as the Jamie Bulger case, shocked the United Kingdom in 1993. At the time, Venables and Thompson were just 10 years old when they abducted 2-year-old James Bulger from a shopping center in Liverpool. James Bulger was murdered more than 20 years ago, led away from his mother by John Venables and Robert Thompson, who beat and tortured him before dumping his tiny body following the crime. The young murderers were captured on CCTV footage that circulated widely, leading to their identification and subsequent arrest. The case sparked nationwide outrage due to the extreme nature of the crime committed by such young perpetrators. After a highly publicized trial, Venables and Thompson were found guilty and received life sentences. In the years since, both have been granted new identities and have been released with strict conditions, sparking ongoing debates about the age of criminal responsibility and the risks and possibilities of rehabilitation for young offenders. Notorious child killers. 1. Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, the Moors murderers. Myra Hindley and Ian Brady were notorious criminals in the United Kingdom known for their involvement in the abduction, torture, and murder of young children in the 1960s. Myra Hindley, born on July 23, 1942, and Ian Brady, born on January 2, 1938, formed a deeply disturbed partnership that led to their heinous crimes. Their chilling spree began in 1963 when they abducted 16-year-old Pauline Reed. Over the following years, they went on to abduct and murder 4 more young victims, namely John Kilbride, Leslie Ann Downey, Keith Bennett, and Edward Evans. The innocence and vulnerability of their victims struck fear and outrage throughout the nation. Hindley and Brady often lured their victims by asking for their help or offering them a ride, gaining their trust before committing acts of unspeakable violence. The young victims were subjected to sexual abuse, torture, and ultimately murdered. Some of their bodies remained hidden for years, with the location of Keith Bennett's body still unknown. In May 1966, both Hindley and Brady were found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. Hindley's involvement in the crimes was seen as particularly shocking, as she had actively participated in the abductions and murders. Throughout their imprisonment, Hindley repeatedly appealed for parole, while Brady maintained his defiant stance until his death in 2017. The crimes committed by Myra Hindley and Ian Brady left a lasting impact on the victims' families and the wider society, forever associating their names with a dark chapter in British criminal history. Their case serves as a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity and the devastating consequences of such actions. And depravity that culminated in a series of gruesome murders. Fish targeted young children, primarily boys, whom he abducted, tortured, and eventually killed. His crimes included acts of sexual assault, cannibalism, and sadistic torture. Fish preyed on the innocence and vulnerability of his victims, often using false identities to gain their trust. One of his most notorious crimes was the abduction and murder of 10-year-old Grace Budd in 1928. Fish lured the young girl away from her family under the pretense of offering her a job. Grace's disappearance remained a mystery until years later when Fish sent a detailed confession letter to her parents, describing the horrifying details of her murder and cannibalization. In 1934, Fish was finally apprehended and brought to trial. During the trial, his disturbing and sadistic tendencies were laid bare as evidence of his crimes piled up. Fish ultimately confessed to multiple child murders, claiming to have killed more than a dozen children across the United States. Found guilty of the murder of Grace Budd, Fish was sentenced to death. His bizarre and disturbing behavior throughout the trial reaffirmed his status as a deranged and dangerous individual. On January 16, 1936, Fish was executed in the electric chair, leaving behind a legacy of horror and depravity. The case of Albert Fish stands as a chilling reminder of the depths of human evil and the devastating impact of serial killers on society. His sadistic acts of violence against innocent children have left an indelible mark on the history of criminality. The gruesome details of his crimes continue to shock and horrify to this day. Cult leaders and child killings. 1. Charles Manson, the Manson family, and the murder of Sharon Tate. Charles Manson was the leader of a cult group known as the Manson family, which gained infamy for its involvement in a series of murders in Los Angeles, California, during the late 1960s. Born on November 12, 1934, Manson became a figurehead of evil and manipulation, captivating followers with his charismatic personality and twisted ideology. Manson's criminal activities reached their peak in August 1969 when his followers carried out a series of brutal murders. One of the most infamous incidents was the brutal killing of actress Sharon Tate and 4 others at her residence.
The video is over and I hope you enjoy watching it. Feel free to leave a comment if you would like to see part 2 of this video. If you're enjoying the content on our channel, we kindly request your support by subscribing, liking, sharing, and leaving a comment. By subscribing, you'll stay updated with our latest videos, ensuring you never miss out on the captivating content we create. Liking our videos not only shows your appreciation but also helps boost our visibility and reach a wider audience. Sharing our videos with your friends, family, and social media networks spreads the word and allows others to discover our channel.